Good morning, my garden and YouTube and vermiculture friends. This is the second day, the day after I cleaned the worms, and we're back in the just off my kitchen. And as you can see, this is a can of worms for those who have never followed me. And it's a system that has a bottom well, and then three trays, and then a top lid. And the top lid has all those circles or little holes that are probably, I don't know, maybe a 12th of an inch, maybe 16th of an inch. The bottom of each tray is filled with holes, and those holes are maybe a quarter of an inch. I've never actually measured it. I probably should. But yesterday, whenever I cleaned it out, I ended up getting two and maybe a quarter of those big red Folger coffee cans, the extra large ones. And each one holds maybe a few pounds, maybe, I don't know, wet, maybe 4 pounds. And so that was pretty good after only, I think it's been 17 or 18 days. Anyway, I wanted to show you this because I was thinking about it when I watched other sites, whether it's vermicomposting, learning by doing. There's Plant Obsessed Anne and Whytedavy garden, and she is a worm farmer also. There's AJ's Green Topics. There's quite a few. There's quite a few people out there who are Chris up in I think he's in Ireland, and he's got that wonderful accent. Chris Kelly. Anyway, all these people are just motivating me. I've been doing this for over 12 years, and I've always done it exactly the same way. And I used to let my bottom tray go for a month, sometimes more. I think in the very beginning, there was one time that I got all three trays going, because in this system, you put the first tray on, and then after it kind of fills about halfway up, there's little feet on the inside. The tray then comes down and sits on so that the worms don't escape. And then a month or so later, however long it takes you to fill that, you put the next one on, and you lay down cardboard on the inside, or you could do it with heavy newspaper or something, so that the worms don't just fall through. And then the following month, and the idea is that you've got first month, second month, third month, and then when this fills up, you take off these two, they move down, and this one is harvested, cleaned out, and then moved up to the top, and that becomes the fourth month. Well, the idea is that you're going to do this regularly. And I think we bought it in 2009. I think there was like 2011, we both had jobs. 2012, both had jobs. And it was probably 6 or 8 months. The whole thing just sat. And since I didn't have any room to put anything, I kind of stopped using it. Well, you know what? I got the best castings out of just about the whole thing. But then I started on a rotation again. I took out the bottom, and a few weeks later I took out the middle, and and then I started rotating them again and again. And now that I have you guys to watch, so many great sites, and if you aren't a worm farmer, I suggest that you check out those channels because they are very informative. Now that I have you guys, I'm looking forward to doing it. And instead of even once a month, it's like 17 or 18 days. I'm going, gee, I wonder what the worms are doing. Let me take them apart and see what's happening. But I get a lot of liquid that forms down in this tray down here. And it actually, without taking the whole thing apart, it has a well, and it has a section in the center of it that actually rises up, so that if any of the worms get caught down there, they can wiggle on up. Well, I have to tell you, this is the best wet castings you could ever find. And it's almost like a black pudding. We wouldn't want to eat it, but it has that consistency, is really pudding-ish. So what I did this time is that I just took all of that pudding, and I mean hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of worms. And I just took a spade and a spatula. Actually, I have an old spatula, and I just cleaned it out the best I could. And then all the worms, because when I lay these out, I lay them on black plastic trash bags on a table. And so when the worms come out of those little holes, they just drop down and they lay on that black plastic because they think they're going somewhere, and lo and behold, they're staying right there. And because it was 60 degrees out yesterday morning, or in the low 60s, they weren't moving. They were hugging onto each other for dear life. So when I collected all of those worms, and plus as I was cleaning out this bottom tray, I got hundreds and hundreds. So I had it in a, it actually looked a little bit bigger than this blue, this is a Swiffer container actually, but it was about twice that size, like a little foot locker. And I had probably solid, probably almost 3 liters, close to a gallon of this black puddingy castings with lots and lots and lots of worms in it, along with all the other worms I collected. So I just decided to make that the beginning of my top bin. And I really wanted to show you what the top bin looks like the day after, because there had to have been well over 1,000 worms. So, and probably close to 1 canister full of castings. But to have to separate all that would have just taken me way too long. So I'm letting the worms and Mother Nature do their own thing. But I wanted to show you what it looks like after that long story, what it looks like inside the morning after. And I'm going to have to do this one-handed and hope that it doesn't. Can you see those? Those are nice little air holes. And I actually take this out and I clean it on a regular basis just to make sure those air holes stay nice. And you can see, I think you can see, there's a lot of liquid. That's a lot of moisture that's collected. Nobody seems to be escaping, but anyway, this is the morning after. We had tomatoes for dinner, and I just really put a tiny bit back, a few pages, torn up things, the little papers and what have you, and some coffee grounds, just anything that I'm starting. And then you can see, I wanted you to see that here is, this is the little, finger, little arms that come out. And that if this were a tray underneath, this is as far down as the top tray would go. And that way the worms aren't squished. But also it provides a tight spot for them so the worms can't escape here. It's a pretty good system, I think. And so all I do every day is come over here and we're having strawberries for breakfast. That's it. 6 days a week we have bananas. On Sundays we have, and strawberries. But on Sundays we have a nice Sunday breakfast, eggs and what have you. And the banana is left on for the next day. And so 6 days a week they get a banana peel and the top, which is chopped, and coffee grounds and the strawberry tops. And I also have crushed eggshell, it's pulverized. And I did tell you that I've started giving them the ground oatmeal and cornmeal. And so I have to say, I was looking at the worms themselves, and I thought, boy, there's suddenly some chunky boys in there, and they're looking kind of beefy. I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if because they're beefy they're going to make more castings, or what the benefit of that is. But I'm follow along. I'm listening to the instructions, and so I'm doing what I'm told. So that was really it. I'm trying to add a little less water to hopefully make them a bit drier. You can see my worm leachate right there, and I will use this because this is actually a living product. You can see the cap is on, but it's a little askew because I want it to be able to breathe, and I will use that on my. Usually, I use it on my porch plants. They just absolutely love it. So those are my only instructions for the day, and I hope you all, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. You know I'm here. And so for today, we're going to put the lid down, pat everybody and wish them well, and say goodbye to the worms until tomorrow morning. So thanks for following along. I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. And don't forget, garden what you've got. Bye-bye.